Hello listeners, this is 107.8 Puduvai Vaani, the community radio station of Pondicherry University. This program is Just Relax. Stress and tension is an universal disease in today's world. If we see, we won't find anyone without stress. This is one of the most ridiculous diseases in today's world, and managing this stress is a huge task. It's not so easy to do this, but Dr. Vivek Sharma is here with us with some beautiful ideas and tips to manage the stress. Let's listen to him.
I am Dr. Vivek Sharma, and in the next few sessions we will be talking about the main hot topic for today, that is how to beat stress, with which every person is suffering, by personal management. In today's world, with modern lifestyle, stress is one of the commonest words used by all of us in day-to-day life. We generally use the word stress when we feel that everything seems to have become too much for us. We are overloaded and wonder whether we really can cope with the pressures placed upon us. Anything that poses a challenge or a threat to our well-being is a stress for us. Earlier, this word was common in the dictionary of adults, but now it includes not only adults, but also the adolescents, the children, and now even toddlers who are 3 to 4 years old. Even they are subjected to so much of pressure, and I consider more often unnecessary, to compete with their peers to get admitted in good reputed schools. Now, how exactly we feel when we are stressed? We have a feeling of tension, we have a feeling of frustration, we worry a lot, the sadness prevails, there is feeling of withdrawal from the world, and there is a feeling of dejection. Some people compares excessive stress with termites that eat us from inside and weaken our resolve to lead a happy and contented life. According to one research, approximately 40 to 50% of all teenagers say they have experienced mild to severe form of stress at least once in their lifetime. So many psychosomatic disorders are attributed to chronic accumulation of stress along with the modern lifestyle. For example, heart attack, diabetes, chronic fatigue syndrome, anxiety, depression, asthma, maladjustment in the society, etc. Now, before we go forward, let us find out the answers of two basic questions. What is the medical definition of stress and its basic pathophysiology? Second, how do we deal with stress which we encounter in day-to-day activities? So what is stress? It is your mind and body's response or reaction to a real or imagined threat, event or change. So the event may not even be real. It is imaginary, and most of the time the event is imaginary only. The threat, event or changes which commonly cause these things, these are called as stressors. Now these stressors can be internal, which can be due to our thoughts, our beliefs, our attitudes, or maybe external. Now the example of inner stress can be that we are not happy with our body image, which is very common in the adolescent population and in the young adults. We are not happy with the way we look, we become so self-conscious, we feel that everyone is staring at us, everyone is thinking about us only, and that causes unnecessary imaginative stress. Another is example of the stress outside, that is from the surroundings, from the environment. Now there can be a number of causes for it. For example, loss or any tragedy in the family or any change, continuous relocation, family pressures, school or college pressures, pressures by the friends, peers, society, and there can be many other causes. The other way of classifying stress can be that it causes its effect on the physical body. It can be because of the prolonged academic hours in the school or college, the pollution which can be air pollution or the continuous noise pollution to which all the metro people are exposed to, overcrowded roads, poor ventilation, we are forced to sit on bad furniture for throughout the day, or they can be psychological. There is bullying around by other people, there are continuous changing of schools, colleges, we have conflicts with our teachers, with our peers, there is very much forced competitiveness which is prevailing in each and every aspect of life nowadays. We have falling grades, we have to be present in the class all the time, or maybe that we are suffering from the learning disorders. And we need always in a habit of remaining to be specially recognized by others. That itself causes a lot of psychological stress. Then there can be psychosocial stress. How our relations with peers. We want to spend the time with peers but without parental supervision. We do not want to be seen by anyone or observed by anyone. Like the opinion of the peers become more important than that of parents. So we have conflicts with our parents, sometimes with our friends. Then a lot of stress and is caused by the media, by the internet. And usually the things that we get are usually on the negative tone only. And how do we react to stress? The reaction to stress is by the mechanism of triple F: fight, flight, or freeze. The way you respond to a challenge may also be a type of stress. Part of your response to challenge is physiological and affects your physical state. When faced with a challenge or a threat, your body activates resources to protect you, to either get away as fast as you can or fight. Our fight or flight response is our body's sympathetic nervous system, which reacts to this stressful event. Our body produces large quantities of chemicals like cortisol, adrenaline and noradrenaline, which triggers a higher heart rate, heightened muscle preparedness, sweating and alertness. All these factors help us protect ourselves in a dangerous or challenging situation. But when this situation remains for long periods of time, that is, the chronic condition occurs, then the stress has very detrimental effect on the body. In the short term, the sympathetic overactivity does not cause harm to the body, only prepares our body to take up the stress. Non-essential body functions slow down, such as our digestive and immune systems, when we are in fight or flight response mode. All resources can then be concentrated on rapid breathing, blood flow, creating more alertness and muscle use. So when we are stressed, what are the changes that happen in us? Our blood pressure rises, the breathing becomes more rapid, digestive system slows down, heart rate rises, our immune system goes down, so we often fall sick, muscles become tense, we do not sleep properly. Our quality of sleep goes down because there is heightened state of alertness even in the state of sleep. We feel nervous and anxious. There is excessive anger or depression, being easily upset, poor self-confidence, low self-esteem, lack of concentration, and that may reflect as the poor performance in studies. But the fact of the matter is, ultimately how each person reacts with event will decide how stress will affect you. This means that whether we get stressed out or not depends mainly on us. Is stress good or bad for us? Now let us come to this point. Is it always bad? No. Some amount of stress is essential for us to excel in life. This is good stress or eustress. If we are not given eustress, then surely we will not be able to do many of the things that we are doing nowadays. If we get everything in our platter, we will hardly move around. But when the stress is too much, then it reduces our performance. This is the bad stress or the distress. So coming to the positive stress or eustress, it occurs when your level of stress is high enough to motivate you to move into action to get things accomplished. For example, there is healthy competition with the peers. There is a challenging but protective environment while learning new skills like martial arts, speaking in public. Incidentally, stage fright is considered as one of the biggest fears in the world all around. Distress or negative stress occurs when your level of stress is either too high or too low and your body and or mind begin to respond negatively to stressors. So what is the relation between the stress and the performance? The stress and performance can be explained by the inverted U hypothesis. What this says that when the stress is very low, then our performance is very low. Then the time comes that as the stress keeps on increasing within the U stress limit, our performance also keeps improving. And it reaches to the zone of optimum performance when we are able to take the stress and react in a positive manner told in the form of our performance. But then thereafter, if the stress keeps on increasing, what happens? The stress will increase, but our performance keeps going down. The human beings are not made to continue living in large amount of the stress. So dealing more effectively with the stress improves our performance and the quality of life. But if the stress is too much, then we will not be able to improve our performance, but it has a detrimental effect on us and our performance keeps dropping down. So nowadays, stress is like salt and pepper to life. What actually makes the stress good or bad for us? A lot of research has gone in this field. So many scientists, so many philosophers, thinkers, they have taught about it. And the conclusion of all of them is that ultimately it is our reaction decided by our own character and our own attitude to any situation or information coming either from outside or from inside that decides whether the stress is going to be good or bad. So this is a good news. Good news is that if we improve our inner being, all stresses can be good within a normal limit, and we can consider it as a God-sent opportunity to make us better and evolved beings. Anyways, it is nearly impossible for all of us to stop the stressors until we are breathing in this life, and only permanent solution can be to convert all stresses as far as possible into eustress by the stress management techniques. Now coming to these techniques, what are these? There are two types of the laws in this world. One is the man-made and the second is the universal law. Now what are these man-made laws? These are there to make the lives of all the human beings and all the beings easier. But these are not immutable. For example, if person jumps the traffic signal, then it is not correct. He has already broken a man-made law. But the result is we may or we may not get penalized by doing this action. But then there are universal laws. These laws are immutable. They go unpardoned if transgressed and still affect us even if we are ignorant or unaware of them. That means they will always be following us whether we know about them or we are ignorant about them, whether we follow them or we just ignore them. So now these universal laws can be considered for our sake of convenience as the physical or the mental and spiritual. We all are aware of the physical universal laws. For example, gravity. Whether we believe in the gravitational pull or not and are aware of it or not, like when we are in deep sleep, we are totally unaware of even our own body. But still the gravity will act on our body. Every time we try to sit, we try to stand or try to raise ourselves above earth, we are subjected equally and impartially to the effect of gravitational pull. This we all know. And we know that it is going to be impartial to each and every person, and we also know that we cannot escape it. Similarly, there are universal mental and spiritual laws which have been tested over thousands of years by the seers and explained by mystics in various coveted textbooks and sermons. They have been discussed in the science laboratories, they have been discussed in the moral laboratories, and they are the things which are passed down the generations in the families in the form of the culture and as the forms of the discipline of the life. These laws are also equally immutable like the physical laws, but they have to be practiced by individuals to test their efficacy. In following discussion, we are going to talk about these universal laws. People who understood these laws and rules and accepted them and embraced them in their lives, they have been recorded as successful personalities in their respective fields. We are going to discuss them in the light of tactics which can enable us to become better human beings and capable of meeting day-to-day stressful situations. Every day we hear many success stories in newspaper, on internet, from our friends and relatives. One common thing amongst all of them is that they all are very focused in their lives and have tremendous attitude towards optimism. Whether we are talking about a film actor or Sachin Tendulkar, or we are talking about tennis stars or the politicians or any person, whosoever has been the role model in the society, definitely that person has worked tremendously, very hard, and he was always focused and he was always optimistic. To say in few words, they all understood the law that purpose of life is a purposeful life. And they discovered this law sooner than later, before other people in their respective fields of endeavor could awaken to this reality. Let us now pause, introspect, and see inside. Do we really know our purpose of life? Do we really know where all of our energy is being directed every day? Think over it. There is a saying, charity begins at home. To start with, goal or purpose of life can be self-improvement and improving our own efficiency in day-to-day activities. How this will help us? This will immediately translate into better self-esteem. It will immediately give us the confidence. In the future, it will give us better grades, better jobs, more of the material possessions like house, car, etc. And someday, surely this will enable us in near future to contribute immensely to the society to which we all are indebted to, which has given so much to all of us. In one research, the adolescent and the young students were interviewed and questions were asked what they would dream to become after completing their schooling and graduation. Many of them aspired to become engineer, doctor, lawyer, MBA, or civil servants like IPS, IAS officers, etc. That is good that most of the people had some idea where they want to. They all had good ideas about it, and many of them admitted to working hard towards achieving their goals. But when it was asked whether they dream every day of becoming good human beings and good citizens of the country, most of them answered in negative. They said yes, they would like to be good people, but they don't think about it every day. They don't work upon it. Now the question is, how is it possible to become good professionals without continuously working on our inner self, which can be called as our character or our attitude towards life of contentment and fulfillment? How can be a professional, a good engineer or good doctor, lawyer or good IAS or IPS officer or a good politician if he does not have the good character or he does not have a good attitude? It might have probably occurred because many parents, teachers and near and dear ones told the importance of only professional success rather than building character in life to the students. Now what is this attitude? Attitude scientifically can be defined as a predisposition or a tendency to respond positively or negatively towards a certain idea, object, person or situation. Attitude influences an individual's choice of action and our responses to challenges, their incentives and rewards. Now all of these things, whether they are challenges, whether they are incentives or rewards, they are together called as the stimuli. Four major components of attitude are: number one, emotions or feelings. Second is our belief that we are having it about, or the opinions we continuously hold consciously. Then this, whether we are inclined towards its action or not. And fourth is evaluation. What will be its positive or negative response to the stimuli, whether we should react positively or negatively to it. Now, who would not like to have a good attitude? Everybody wants to. But how many of us are actually working consciously towards having a better attitude? A study attributed to Harvard University found that when a person gets a job, 85% of the time it is because of their attitude, and only 15% of the time because of how smart they are and how many facts and figures they know. But surprisingly, almost 100% of our education fund in thousands of crores go to teach facts and figures which only account for 15% of success in the work. So it is just like an iceberg. More than 80 to 90% of it is hidden beneath the ocean, and only 10 to 15% is exposed. So we can compare it with this analogy. the exposed portion, the tip of the iceberg, is the skills that we need to gain, we need to improve ourselves. But most of our attitude and character, just like that, the iceberg is hidden inside us, and that is actually going to define whether we are successful or not, or whether we have a good personality or not in this life. William James of Harvard University said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." Now, it is a very significant statement that we have a capacity to change our lives by altering their attitudes. We can change our attitudes and our quality of life will change. Similarly, Buddha had said that whatever we think of, whatever our mind we put it on, our destiny will be decided accordingly. Now, we know that a lot of people go for training programs, which include such as the customer service, selling skills, and strategic planning. But the problem is that few people only get benefited out of it. And it is so because we have not given a thought about the foundation, and we are only working to gain 10 to 15% of the total knowledge that can be provided in the form of skills. It is only possible when the foundation is right. And the right foundation is to become total quality people. That is, the people with character, integrity, good values, and a positive attitude. If we don't have this, then it is sure that whatever the skills we are gaining will not make us rise to the highest levels, and we will often find ourselves in the stress. Someone once approached the famous French philosopher Blaise Pascal. He was very much impressed by this philosopher, and he said, "Sir, if I had your brains, I would be a better person." Pascal listened to him and patiently, and then replied, "Brother, be a better person and you will have my brains." What an attitude. So, as we choose, so we become. Now, I would like to explain this point further by another anecdote or by an example. There was a young boy who was sitting at the school gate waiting for his mother to pick him up. He was watching a man selling helium balloons in the park in front of the school. Whenever business was slow, he would release a helium-filled balloon into the air, and when the children saw it go up, they all wanted to buy one. He became curious and crossed the road and asked the man, "Sir, you are putting these balloons up in the sky. Sir, will this black balloon also fly?" That man was moved. Immediately, the man released a black balloon into the sky and said, "My dear young man, the color of a balloon is not what makes it fly, but what is inside of it makes it fly." So how high we will go in life will be told by our attitude towards life. Attitude determines our altitude in life. The better the attitude, the higher the altitude in life, the better the personality we will be having in our life. So let us check our attitude. Is it most of the people, they can perform much better than what they are doing? So often we limit ourselves by negatively evaluating ourselves and by being too conscious about how others are evaluating us. And we say to ourselves that I cannot be a successful person because I am from poor background, I am not so intelligent, I am having dull mind, I lack confidence, I am having inferiority complex, I do not have proper communication skills, etc., etc. And since we give continuous negative suggestions to ourselves, it dents our attitude, and so we also start feeling that no, we are not capable of reaching to the better heights in the life. So this we can try to understand with another example. The story now which I am going to share with you is called as Acres of Diamond. It's a very interesting story. There was a person, Russell Conwell, who was an American Baptist minister in the 19th century. He actually heard it from an African person and then he told in front of the public. This story became so popular and everybody started liking it so much that word by word he was asked to deliver it over 6,000 times all around the world. The story goes like this. Hafiz was a poor farmer in Africa who was happy and content. He was happy Because he was content. And why he was content? Because he was happy. One day a wise man came to him and told him about the glory of diamonds and the power that goes along with them. The wise man said, "If you had the diamond of the size of your thumb, you could buy your own city. You had the diamond the size of your fist, you could probably own your whole country." And then the wise man left. Now this poor fellow Hafiz was no more content and happy. He could not sleep whole night. He was unhappy because he was discontented. He was discontented because he was unhappy. The next morning Hafiz made arrangements to sell his farm, took care of his family, and went off in search of diamonds. He looked all over Africa and could not find any. By the time he got to Spain, he was emotionally, physically, and financially totally depleted. He was so disheartened that he committed suicide by throwing himself into the Barcelona River. Back home, the person who had bought his farm was watering the camels at the stream that ran through the property of Hafiz. Now across the stream, the rays of the morning sun hit a rainbow. He thought the stone would look good in his poor living room. He picked up the stone and put it on his mantelpiece. That afternoon, the wise man came and saw the stone sparkling. He asked, "Is Hafiz back?" The new owner said, "No." "Why do you ask?" The wise man said, "Because this stone is a diamond. I recognize one when I see one." The man said, "No, that is just a stone I picked up from the stream. Come, I'll show you. There are many more." They went and picked some samples and sent them to analysis. Sure enough, the stones were diamonds. They found that the farm was indeed covered with acres of diamonds. So what it adds to our understanding? Number one, when our attitude is right, we realize that we all are walking on acres and acres of diamonds. But if our attitude is not right, then even if there are acres of diamonds provided by God, we are totally unaware of it. Second, opportunity is always under our feet. We don't have to go anywhere. All we need to do is recognize it. Number three, the grass always looks greener on the other side. While we are eyeing the grass on the other side, there are others who are eyeing the grass on our side. They would always be happy to trade places with us. Perhaps we do not know the importance of what we are, where we are, why we are. Number four, people who don't know how to recognize opportunity complain of noise when it knocks. Number five, opportunities are easier recognized when they are leaving rather than when they are coming towards us. We often talk about of missing the opportunities, but when those opportunities come to us, we are totally unaware of them. We are not alert at all about them. And last thing is, number 6 point, opportunity only knocks once. It will not be the same opportunity when it comes again. It may be the better or worse, but never the same. So, the message that we can get from this story is, it is always crucial to make the right decision at the right time, and the point to start with is where we are today. Rather looking at other people, we should try to look inside, try to introspect inside, and try to see, visualize there are acres of diamonds within all of us. We all are capable of doing so many things, and it is possible only if we completely do over our character. If we completely change over our character, everything will change. A right decision at the wrong time becomes a wrong decision. If I say it in Hindi, जीवन में हम अनुपलब्ध के पीछे भागते रहते हैं उपलब्ध को छोड़कर. वास्तव में जब हम संतुष्ट होते हैं तभी सुखी रहते हैं, और जब सुखी होते हैं तो संतुष्ट होते हैं. दोनों अन्योन्याश्रित हैं. So while pursuing any worthy goal, we are sure to find difficulties and challenges. but it is only our attitude which will determine how we look at the setback. To a positive thinker, it can be a stepping stone to success. To a negative thinker, it can be a stumbling block. But start your journey by looking inwards and discovering acres of diamonds inside. There is a saying, if it is important, you will find a way, and if not, you will find an excuse. That's it for today. Thank you very much.
Hello listeners, I hope all of you are really happy and satisfied with Dr. Vivek Sharma's guidelines. Follow this in your life and for sure you'll achieve your goal in your life.